I hope that these prompts inspire you to go from blank page to just an uncontrollable amount of words and poems just pouring out of your heart and soul. The world needs more poetry. If you've been wanting to write more poetry, but you are feeling stuck and you don't know where to start and you're just staring at a blank page, this video is for you because I have 8 of some of my favorite prompts for getting that inspiration flowing and sparking some creativity on your poetry journey. Also, as a total side note, don't worry about the construction that's going on back here. As you can see, that's all plastic off. My husband and I have a beautiful baby on the way and we are pregnancy brain. We are renovating our home, and this section right here, maybe in a video soon, you will see it, will one day be stairs so that we have some storage upstairs, and then this room behind me can be baby's nursery. Okay, so 2 things as we go through these prompts today. 1, feel free to watch the whole thing through and just kind of see what comes up for you. Or another way to do this is what I like to call like a DIY poetry workshop, and you can pause the video as we go through each prompt and then give yourself like 5 to 7 minutes to see what comes up for you for each prompt. And then later you can go back and edit and revise and, you know, expand on the poem if you want to. And then 2, I want you to remember that poetry is self-expression. So you can approach these prompts in any way that feels good for you. You can be silly, you can be serious, you can be emotional, you can be dark, you can be boring. It can literally just be an exercise for you to get things out of your head and onto paper, and then the poem itself doesn't have to mean anything or go anywhere, and it can just remain a draft. However you want to approach this is perfect. Okay, I got my little cheat sheet here because pregnancy brain, and I won't be able to remember everything off the top of my head. So the first one is to write a poem where you're describing a common activity, like cooking or going for a walk or watching a movie. This is one of my favorite ways to like really tap into the present moment in writing poetry, because then I can tap into how I'm feeling, and then that helps to express and inform where the poem wants to go. And something fun to pair with this idea is to like swap your senses. So let's say you're writing a poem about cooking. Instead of describing how the cooking tastes, describe how everything sounds, right? The sizzling of a pan, the pop of a cork, things like that. Okay, so this next prompt, number 2, is also really fun. Write from the perspective of an inanimate object. I know it sounds so silly, but it actually really is fun and can help those creative juices get flowing. So let's say I'm going to write a poem about my favorite pen that I use. What secrets is this pen holding? What does this pen want to tell me? How does this pen feel about the role it has in my life? This is such a good way to really expand your craft and go beyond things that are basic and typical in your writing. Number 3, I love this one, is to just choose a book off your shelf. It could be a poetry book, fiction, nonfiction, it doesn't matter. Open to a random page and use the first sentence as a jumping point for your poem. And then if you want to take it a step further, you can use the last sentence on the page as the last sentence of your poem and kind of just fill in that gap. Number 4, we're halfway through. If you're liking these prompts and you think you're going to use them, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Comment below, let me know that you like this type of video so that I know to keep creating these videos. Do you want more poetry prompts? Do you want poetry exercises and things like that? Let me know. Okay, so number 4 is to dialogue with another poem. So choose a poem that you really love, maybe one of your own or from somebody else, and then respond to that poem with a poem. And the poem could be an agreement, it could be a disagreement, an argument, a letter. So many different ways you can go with this. Number 5 is to write a letter to your future self. What questions do you have for your future self? What hopes, what advice? What are you seeking? Or in the opposite way, do that in reverse. That's this, I said that 2 different ways. It's the same thing 2 ways. Okay, anyway, you get what I'm saying. So reverse that and write a poem from your future self to yourself now, giving you advice or telling you what your life is like. You 5 years from now, what would you say? You 10 years from now, what would you say? a year, a month, it doesn't matter. Pick any time in the future and either write to that person that you will become or write from the perspective of the person that you will become. Number 6 is to make a list of 10 words that you really love. You can love these words for their sound, their meaning, their rhythm, just because they come up for you a lot in your own poetry. When you're finding your own unique writing voice as a poet or as a writer in general, a way to really lean into that voice is to see what words that you're using more frequently. And that could be like a totally different video. So let me know if that's something that you're interested in, because I really want to bring more poetry into this space on YouTube. I don't think there's enough resources for poets here. So yeah, let me know if that's something that you're interested in. But for this prompt, you're gonna make a list of 10 words that you really love, and then you're gonna challenge yourself to use all 10 of those words in a single poem. Let the words guide you, let the poem take the direction that it's going to take, and just see what comes up. Number 7, and this one is just a lot more simple and something that you can do if you're really feeling blocked and lacking that inspiration, is to just pick a word of the day. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can just grab a dictionary or go to a dictionary website and pick any word, or see if there's a word of the day somewhere. Or there are some apps that will automatically push you a word of the day. And then that could just be a little daily challenge to yourself. How can I use this new word in a poem today? And our last prompt, we've made it. If you have paused this video at all to write any poetry, I would love, love, love to read some of your work. If you're open and willing to share that with me, you can connect with me in a couple different places. Either 1, my Substack, or 2, Instagram. Or you can comment below if you're okay with other people reading it as well. But I would love to read your work and support who you are as a writer and poet. So don't be afraid to open up and share your work and be vulnerable and let other people read what you are writing. So all of that being said, number 8 is to find words that have opposite meanings of each other. For instance, hope and despair, or love and hate, joy and suffering. And then write a poem that explores the relationship between those two words. How do they fit together, even though they're contradictions? Do they belong together? Can you have one without the other? There are so many different ways that you can take that as a poem. Okay, friends, we made it to the end. I hope that these prompts inspire you to go from blank page to just an uncontrollable amount of words and poems just pouring out of your heart and soul. The world needs more poetry, okay? Like, I cannot say that enough. The world needs more art. The world needs more poetry. It needs more artists and writers and people just expressing themselves and their truth through words and through art. It's just, it's a beautiful thing. I can go on and on and on about it, but I won't, not in this video. And if you want to read my poetry and some of my work, you can follow me on Substack. It's daniellelangen.substack.com. Or you can find the publication Growing Through It. That's the name of my publication on Substack. I post some personal essays there, my poetry, and I've just been really, really, really loving growing in that space. So I would love to connect with you over there if you are interested in reading my work. Until next time, I'll see you on the next page. Mwah.